America's gold standard of talk radio. The Wilkow Majority.
Wait, Jimmy Eat World is from Arizona? I did not know that. 1-866-95 Patriot 957-2874. You know, it's fun. How many people have actually tried to run against John McCain? J.D. Hayworth tried to run against John McCain and obviously did not succeed. But what's amazing about some of there's a sort of street level understanding, or I should say a pedestrian level understanding, and then I don't want to sound arrogant saying it. Okay, let me put it like this. When it makes sense, when you're looking around and it seems like the majority of people are fed up with a particular politician, but somehow that person keeps getting reelected, it's because some of these people, and I would say especially in the Senate, are expert at getting themselves in and then building constituency groups that will ensure their reelection, whatever that constituency group is. That's why it's so hard to sort of unhorse some of these people. John McCain is one of them. There are too many people that are interested in some of these people getting elected. Joining us on the program right now is Arizona State Senator Kelli Ward, KelliWard.com. How you doing?
Oh, Andrew, it is great to talk to you. I wasn't going to gush, but I have to gush because I love your show. I love listening to you. I've listened to you for years. I am so happy to have somebody that I can listen to that's standing up for our Second Amendment, our Fourth Amendment, for our citizens over people who come here illegally, and for tying rights and responsibilities together and knowing that you can't have rights if they are not tied to those responsibilities. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for having me on the show today.
Well, I appreciate all of that. John McCain, look, he's been there forever. And what's funny is now after the comments made by Donald Trump, all of a sudden you have Democrats running out acting like they're morally offended at what Donald Trump said, yet they were saying things way worse about John McCain when he was running against Barack Obama. But John McCain has made himself kind of an institution in the Senate, just like Lindsey Graham and others. So it's tough. I mean, how hard has it been for you to build the name as somebody who might be able to finally beat him in a primary?
Well, I'll tell you that there is a grassroots fire that has been lit. People are sick of it. They're sick of politicians across the board. They're particularly sick of Senator McCain in Arizona, I will tell you, because they're tired of being lied to. They're tired of being misled. They're tired of votes being taken in the Senate that are meaningless but are used in campaigns. And Senator McCain can't stand on his own record. I'm gonna give you some straight talk to borrow his famous phrase. If he were to run on his record, he'd have to say, I'm in this because I've surrendered the Senate's treaty power. That John McCain is in this because he wanted to fund Obamacare. That McCain supports amnesty. He supported Obama and he supported amnesty. That he failed to secure our border despite promising to do so. That he has voted for billions of dollars in bailouts for his cronies. That he's voted to increase the debt ceiling 14 times. Those are things that he does not want people to remember. He wants to change that subject. He wants to change it to a tax on me or to go to his military service. Now, you're not going to hear me attack his military service. There is plenty to go on with his very progressive, very liberal voting record in the Senate. We need to have a change. We need new, fresh, bold leaders that are going to take this country down a path to the right so that we can get on the right track and we can do something for our citizens and for the people who live in this great country.
I'm going to read straight off your website. Dr. Kelli Ward is joining us, KelliWard.com, Kelli, not Y. Jobs in the economy, personal responsibility, limited government intervention in our day-to-day lives, and lower taxes are key ingredients to stimulate economic growth and job creation. High taxes are a disincentive. They should be lowered. Our country needs a stable, predictable economic business environment. Crony capitalism hurts investment and innovation in new businesses. The biggest problem facing the establishment of the Republican Party is that they continue to promote the idea that they can run all the bad progressive ideas a little bit better than the Democrats, when in fact nobody can run a bad idea better.
You're exactly right, Andrew. We don't want Democrat light. I am sick of Democrat light, and that is why I am running as a strong conservative. I'm running on small government. The government does what it's supposed to do. And I think that no matter what your political persuasion, we want our family, our friends, and our country to be safe. So we have got to have a secure border. We have to have an all-of-the-above strategy, not just defense, not just cameras, not just people on the border, not just an in-and-out system. We need it all. We need it all, and we need it first before you ever start talking about something like comprehensive immigration reform, which we know is code for amnesty. That amnesty bill that went through with the Gang of Eight, that had billions of dollars in welfare for illegal immigrants who got to come here and got to stay. That's ridiculous. That's not fair to the taxpayer. That is not something that we should be looking at as a Republican Party. Our party needs to be for low taxes. It needs to be for a strong defense. It needs to stand up for our Constitution, the entire Constitution as written, as well as the Bill of Rights. And we have to fight for personal responsibility. We've given up personal responsibility in this country. Somebody else is always responsible, not us. We have to get back to that era of personal responsibility so we can take this country back.
I could sit here and read your website. I mean, it's all solid. You've got faith, family, pro-life, pro-family, pro-freedom, more teachers, fewer bureaucrats under education, no amnesty, secure borders. People can read your website. Let's get to know you a little bit better. You're a doctor. You're yes. Military wife. Has anyone come to you and said, listen, Kelli, you seem like a nice person, but you don't want to take on Senator McCain. I mean, not now. You don't want to do that. Has anyone tried to dissuade you from trying to run against John McCain?
There are a few people, but I think that people see me as really a great hope for the Republican Party. I was talking to a bunch of millennials last week, and I was kind of saying, it's hard to take on the party. Well, they said, you aren't taking on the party. You're trying to save this party. And that's true. That's true. If we don't see a new generation of people coming in, people who, for me, I'm a family physician. People always say, oh, are you a real doctor? Yes, I'm a real doctor. I'm a family physician. I work in emergency departments. I see the good, the bad, and the ugly of Obamacare every single day that I work. Maybe there's a tiny bit of good. I really have a hard time finding it. There's a lot of bad and a lot of ugly. We have got to fully repeal Obamacare if we want to, not only for our healthcare system, but for our country in general. That is for sure. I'm the chair of the Education Committee in the Arizona State Senate right now. Common Core is something that we must pull out by its roots. We cannot federalize our education system. There's way too much at risk. And I appreciate that you talk about that quite often.
Well, because you know what it is with that? I don't mean to cut you. We'll give you all the time. We're going to take you right to the end of the program here, up to Hannity. Okay.
Thanks.
Is that of course we can have you back on the program? And I know you've been on with my buddy Levin.
Yes.
We're doing our best to get you out there. Is what I'm saying.
I will come back anytime.
It's what's amazing is that there are so many issues that the Republicans could be fighting for, and they don't fight on them at all. As a matter of fact, it's almost like they put up a minor league fight during an election cycle. We don't like Obamacare. We don't like Common Core. And then after it gets passed and it gets in, they just give up on it. Whereas the liberals never give up. If right. There was a free market solution to education, if we pushed back to the 10th Amendment, if we were to try to shutter the Department of Education and let the states run it, the Democrats would fight tooth and nail every day to reopen the Department of Education. But when you look at someone like John McCain or Lindsey Graham or any of them, it's like they just don't see these as important things. And I think I know why, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, especially with McCain, because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them. Meghan McCain's education wasn't tied to public education. Most of these people don't even send their kids to the public schools.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. That they are so far removed from real people. We're supposed to have government of, for, and by the people. And to start with, we have to elect people who are of the people, not people who think they are above the people. And that's what we've got with these people who have been in Washington, D.C. for decades. That has got to change. We have to change it. If we don't, And you're saying that they originally say that they're against Obamacare and they're against Common Core. Right now, we have candidates who are out there who aren't even against it. They're for it. They're for things like Medicaid expansion. They're for things like Common Core. That is crazy to see in our Republican Party. Our Republican Party does not. It should not be standing for that. It should be fighting against that tooth and nail so that we can maintain our liberty and freedom. A message of liberty and freedom resonates with everyone, no matter what your political affiliation is, no matter what your age group is. We want in the United States liberty and freedom.
Let me ask you about immigration while I got you here. John McCain has been very open border. States like Arizona, we're seeing local communities whose school budgets are just busting. The hospitals are overrun. The cops can't keep up with the crime on the streets because we've got people just flooding across the border. They're living and working illegally, sending their kids to the schools without paying the taxes. And this is the amazing thing about what happens. We pay for our schools and our police and our firefighters at the property tax level, which means we can't just pick up and move willy-nilly. Most of us, our homes are our biggest investment, and it's where we live. When you look at some of these communities that are getting inundated with illegal immigrants, the property taxes are going through the roof because how else are they going to pay for the schools, the police, the firefighters? And at some point, you can't tax the local people anymore. And you're a state senator, you know this. To listen to someone like John McCain, lecture the rest of us about how we need to have this open border. We don't know what we're going to do. We can't round up 11 million people. No one's talking about rounding up anybody. It's the law. We either enforce the laws or we don't enforce the laws. There's no legal carve-out for American citizens. So why should there be one for illegal immigrants? And in states like Arizona and Nevada and Southern California and West Texas, it's becoming impossible to deal with it.
Yes, you're exactly right. You're speaking to the choir right here, and I'm sure to your audience is the choir as well. We know that we must have a secure border in order to have a secure country. National security is always brought up. That's been thrown around. Oh, national security. National security is border security. We have to know who's coming in, who's going out, when they're coming in, when they're supposed to go out, and we have got to follow the rule of law. We are a country of laws. Or we're supposed to be. Right now, under this Obama administration, it's hard to tell what we are because they pick and choose which laws they're going to enforce, which laws they're not going to enforce. And unfortunately, Senator McCain's been right there allowing it to happen. He's been there for 30 years allowing it to happen. But since Obama's gotten in there, he has not been a strong fighter against the terrible policies and the unconstitutional policies that have been pushed through by this administration. So we have to make a change. I
don't think there's any disrespect in saying to someone like John McCain at his age and his years of service in the Senate, look, buddy, it's somebody else's turn, right? I mean, nobody needs to be in government for 30 years.
Yes. Well, you think about, for me, I'm 46, just to lay it out there. I'm 46 years old, but we've lost the people who are now in their 70s, the people who are now in their 60s, the people who are now in their 50s. They didn't have a chance to be a leader in the United States Senate. What direction could our country have gone should different leaders have been in those seats? It's amazing to ponder and contemplate. But I'm not going to let the 40s, the people that are in their 40s, the people that are in our demographic, go without having a representative. And so that's why I think people are awake. People want new, fresh, bold leaders. They want people with backbones. They want people who are not going to plan to stay there forever. I have said that if I'm elected or when I'm elected, I will not stay there for more than 2 terms. That is way, way more than enough time. 12 years is enough time for anybody to be there. And there are leaders who are waiting in the wings, ready to take the reins and ready to take this country down the right path. I hope that people will join me. You said my website several times, KelliWard.com, Kelli with an I, because I care about the people. I want to challenge your listeners, and I hope that they will help me to donate at that button because I'm fighting a dragon here. It's a David and Goliath battle. John McCain has over $4 million in the bank. I'm earning my financial resources $1 at a time. I don't have any multi-million-dollar friends, and so I need the people in the country to stand up, speak out, and to use their dollars to help me. $10 helps me. Every dollar helps me. The maximum is $2,700. If there are any rich people out there, bring it my way. Because I need to be able to fight the negative attacks that are going to come against me because his record isn't what he wants to be at the forefront. He wants it to be about things that have nothing to do with serving the United States Senate for me.
All right, here's a question you might not get asked often. If you were to get elected, Who can you name a handful of senators that you would gravitate to as far as politics and issues?
It's very easy for me because I want to be a conservative reinforcement for people like Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Rand Paul, Senator Mike Lee, the people who are there doing the will of the people, not the will of the special interests. Those are the people that I would like to join. I'd like to be one of the basically the first female that will join them to do that fight. We've never had a female senator from Arizona. It would be an amazing.
Well, you had a governor.
Historic. We've had several governors, but no senators, which is unfortunate. Arizona's been right at the forefront with women's rights, and I'd love to see me get in there and do the work of the people.
Well, your website, I got to be honest with you, is point blank on these issues. I mean, it's not even like questionable whether or not you're a conservative. I mean, you don't have any. This is what I like about it, and like I said, I don't need to sit here and read the whole thing. We read part of it. We're on your issues page, and people could read it for themselves. I'll do it again for you. KelliWard.com, KELLI, KelliWard.com. That's about as point blank as anybody can be, because a lot of campaign websites kind of have focus group, TV ad wizard language. Yours says no amnesty. That's. I don't think I got a question. So, Senator Ward, where do you stand on the border? I'm not sure from where I see. I see that you're against Common Core and all these things. So that's just great. That's great stuff.
Yes, and I'm very accessible, which is something different than the people that generally represent us. If people want to get in touch with me on Facebook or on Twitter, please do. Kelli Ward AZ on Twitter, Kelli Ward for Arizona on Facebook. I have multiple conversations going on all day, and right now it's me. I hope someday I'm going to have some staff people that can help me, but right now, whenever you get in touch with me, you get the real me, not a staffer.
Well, we got to end it here because my top of the hour music's going to kick on, and Hannity doesn't like giving me his time, so it's weird about radio. You got to get out when your time is over. KelliWard.com. We will get you back on this program because, if anything, it's time to take out some of these establishment guys and put some real conservatives in those Senate seats. So thanks so much for joining us for the first time.
Thanks, Andrew. It's been great talking to you, and it's been an honor talking to you. I look forward to listening to you, and I'll be back soon.
Thank you very much. All right, KelliWard.com one more time. See, there it is, top of the hour music. I always know when it's going to kick in. I have a clock in front of me. It's not like I'm shocked by. Wait, where'd that come from? Hannity's up next, then Levin. We're going to have Levin.